a new client walked through the door, and as part of the discovery and onboarding, I asked them how they found us, and they said ChatGPT. And it was just like a mind blow, mic drop moment.
Fourth big six of 2026 themes is AI. You love this one, Mark. AI transforming business models and value propositions within financial planning advice businesses. Mark, you are an expert in AI, and you always say, no, I'm not. I'm just touching the surface of it. But within the financial planning community and consultants, a lot more and have delved a lot deeper into this than the average person. So we won't call you an expert because you won't take that. But we certainly have at Encore explored and engaged with technology and AI more than ever before in the last 12 months, and have got deep into understanding how AI and technology is and will transform advice businesses specifically, not just their process. And we talked about Koto, but also the value proposition. HI versus AI, we coined the human intelligence and the artificial intelligence. Both are needed. Start with explaining insights from 2025, what we've learned at Encore, and what is going to make this transformational in 2026.
I'm going to take it a step even before that. I think the context for that is important with two stories. And the first one is, most people know that I'm quite deep into my ultra running and triathlons. And so I spend a lot of time sitting on the bike trainer, right? So it's in the living room, doesn't go anywhere. And that can be 2 or 3 or 4 hour sessions. And to occupy my time, I listen to podcasts and watch YouTube. And it was several years ago that the algorithm just started to push this thing called AI. It wasn't on anyone's radar. And it just immediately engrossed and absorbed me because it was on the topic of photography. Now, I have a passion in photography and I love it, both the taking of photos and sitting in front of a screen, editing and processing them and then delivering them to clients. And this was 2, 3, 4 years ago. Long story short, I was seeing how my photography business's workflow was significantly changing because of this thing called AI. The term AI wasn't being used, but that's what it was. And my mind was blown. The time it would take me to produce a photo pre this technology to what it does now was game changing. And I sat there thinking about my Encore business and financial planning businesses, as I do a lot, thinking, oh, this is a tsunami coming. If this can game change the photography world, the editing, the business, what is it going to do? And so I just kept consuming. Fast forward to today. And we're all seeing that now. And so, yeah, I might be just a little bit more ahead of the curve, but this is one where we all know the trajectory. What isn't being discussed is the velocity. Every 3 weeks to 3 months, something significant in this AI technology world comes to market, and it is game changing at a rate that I've certainly never seen it. And we're of a generation that is pre-post internet, right? So we do have a lot of credibility in having lived through the pre-post internet, pre-post email, pre-post smartphones. And the second story is, you were there, Brendan. We were at a financial advisor conference, and one of the advisors put up their hand. We were talking about sales and marketing, and they said, again, long story short, a new client walked through the door. Ideal, became a brand new client. And as part of the discovery and onboarding, I asked them how they found us, and they said ChatGPT. And it was just like a mind blow, mic drop moment. And when we unraveled that, this particular client had put in who they are, what they like, what they don't like, their personality, their traits, about advice, and kept asking for recommendations. And ChatGPT in this case whittled it down to recommending this advisor at this business. It was that specific. That was only possible when we reverse engineered it, was because this particular business and advisor had a strong profile online. So I think, Brendan, you and I are of an age where we grew up just saying to ourselves and people, just Google it. That's yesterday. Google had a way of finding certain things based on a website, right? That's not going to cut it going forward, and that doesn't cut it. And so I don't think this is whether a conversation, certainly with me or with Brendan and I, around is it ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. This is about what are you doing to be present and top of mind inside these new pieces of technology that people are using to search for information in a way that we've we've never been able to do in the past. That would be the first. There's probably 2 or 3 epiphanies and insights in there, but one, business models are being transformed, not necessarily by the technology, but definitely by the people using it. 2, clients, prospects now have access to more ways of finding out who are the people that they want to partner with for services in a way that we couldn't do before. I'm going to pause there. There's a couple of other things in there, but I just want to pause there and throw it back to you, Brendan, and your thoughts and perspectives on this area.
A few things I'd start with. The first is more of our clients telling us that their clients have put the SOA they've been provided into an artificial intelligence engine to get the second opinion instead of going to another financial planner. Second, the technology now exists with the right prompts and the right expertise, which is rare. But if you get the right prompts and expertise to produce a really great statement of advice with strategies and product recommendations for zero cost for the actual development. So the technology is already there to disrupt the advice strategy optimization, the investment portfolio construction, all the way through to not yet connecting to implementation. So the disruption hasn't hit yet, but the technology is there to enable it. And what we're finding, which I'm fascinated about, is the businesses that are doubling down on the human side of their value proposition in helping humans make complex decisions to give them confidence and to look forward and make trade-offs. They will find AI will be a tailwind because it will help take out the friction in moving from that advice proposition to implementing. Whereas the advice businesses that lean on information, knowledge, strategic or technical ability, I can get you the best return because I'm smarter than the other people in the room, their value proposition of business model will be disrupted or destroyed, whether it's in a few years or 10 years. What I'm fascinated about is how business owners and their boards are setting up their proposition first, and then how does technology enable them to double down on what's their moat and what's their competitive advantage.
That last line that you said there, Brendan, around how the boards and the owners set up their value propositions, at first blush, you think that's a CVP, maybe it's a pitch pack, it's some training, some capability. What does technology and AI have to do with that? Here's the thing. AI technology allows today is the ability to establish your profile and presence, credibility and authority online in the digital world more quickly and more effectively than ever before. Probably by a factor of 10 times. It is that significant. Let's not get into if you're not using the technology or the AI properly, it's spitting out generic stuff and it sounds like everything. The people who have really gone in and tuned it have moved past that. The analogy that was actually said to me was a story that I'm now repeating ad nauseum because it just landed for me was there's a window. There's a window for businesses. I can't tell you, and nobody can tell you, whether it's 3 months or 3 years or plus or minus that. But there is a window where we, as people and as business owners, can get the proverbial brand and profile plane off the deck. That window is open right now. At some point, that window will be closed and there will be so much noise. There'll be so much content. There'll be like the cloud coming in over the airport that it will be nearly impossible or very difficult to get your brand and profile off the deck through those clouds and to break through. And so why the urgency going back to sales and marketing engines are rusted? That first block, profile. If you don't get it off the deck over the next 3 months to 3 years, it will be eons harder to do that. And so, sure, if you're only in business for the next couple of years, probably don't need to worry about it from that perspective. But if you're thinking 10 years plus, thinking succession, thinking about legacy, this is a non-negotiable. I've never lived through an experience of technology change that's non-negotiable, but this is absolutely one. The second one I would say, which is a really interesting, one of your favorite topics, Brendan, the human connection. Advisors have been in control of the client conversation, and now we're using, I think most businesses now use an AI file note recording. Advisor told me the other day, client walked into the discovery meeting and said, really looking forward to this, really excited, hope you don't mind, I've got my AI recording file note on my mobile phone, I'm just going to turn it on. I really appreciated that the advisor was very honest with me and just went, they felt under threat. It was like, hang on a moment, that's my job. My job is to record. My job is to then synthesize. My job is to then to provide the next steps. And so clients, they're doing the research in the background, and because you don't see it, we don't think that there's any implication, but it's the hidden implication. They're bringing it into the conversation.
It's happening everywhere. It reminds me recently, I've got a scar on my neck here to give me some street cred from spinal surgery, and I saw two different neurosurgeons and they had completely different recommendations for this surgery, completely different. And of course, you have your cursory look on AI and what does that mean, and you read all the stuff. And one of them that I met with, same thing. He said, "Oh, do you mind if I record this? I'm just starting to use AI to do this." And I said, "Oh, we use that in our business, and what do you use?" And we're back and forth. And I thought, actually, we need to get back into me now, mate. This is great, but I need some spinal surgery. But AI was really helpful. My wife helped me, who's deeper into it than I, but to be able to put in the scans, the recommendations, all my criteria and what was important, what's not, what's my lifestyle, what's the factors, it built quite a relatively solid setup to be able to get the right answer. And it actually helped me make a decision which was different to what I was going to make in terms of which way I went. And it's worked out fantastically well and better than I could have expected. But it's just amazing that all parts of our life, this is not coming, it's here. And if you don't have a strategy as to how you're leveraging it as a tailwind and all through your value proposition, your process, it's not just efficiency and friction, it is everything, you are going to be struggling. We've done some encore papers on, for financial planners, AI foundation. Here's some tips where to start. We've jumped into different levels based on businesses. The advice owners and CEOs that are saying, "Oh, we use it for file notes. Our platform's got it, or we've got it on our phone." They've just dabbled in it. What would be the guidance as to where to start for someone that might be overwhelmed and has not really done more than playing around with ChatGPT to find out some trivia questions and using it for file noting?
It's a great question, and this is one where there's multiple entry points. One that has worked really well in a lot of businesses I know and are close to is the owners, or the person most accountable or responsible, sitting down with the younger generation staff members. They are so much more adaptable in this area and almost creating a little project team. Goes back to tick the box of one of the things that you said, Brendan, which is around the engagement of staff and retention. They feel engaged and feel involved. And I guarantee you, they are sitting there, some of them, a lot of them, frustrated, going, "I'm doing this manual when I know that there's a tool out there that can help me." Now, you've got to be careful of privacy and a whole bunch of things, absolutely. So I would probably say step before that is, okay, make a very clear decision around your guardrails around the use of this. Second, sit down with your teams. They know, right? And they can help you shortcut it. You know, what I call your insecurities around looking vulnerable and not knowing, right? So that has a double whammy effect. I love killing two birds with one stone. That's probably not appropriate to say, but if you can do one thing that has two benefits, that is number one, right? And then I think number two is you have to just start. You have to experiment. This is the sandpit, the Play-Doh. This is a really great example of, I don't know where to start because I'm so confused or cognitive overload of there are all of these tools. Is it ChatGPT? Is it Claude? Is it Perplexity? I get that. You cannot go wrong. There is no best. Pick one and just start playing. I'd say those three things. Get clear on your guardrails, right? From a board and governance point of view. Two, establish a little, it doesn't have to be a working group, just an interest group of some of the staff that are interested in this thing. The ideas will come out. And three, pick a tool and start playing with it with something simple, like creating some pieces of content.